Welcome back to Real Estate Radio San Antonio with Karla Stan. And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to us here, and we've got Ed Guerrero here sitting on the left side of us. I guess you wouldn't know on radio if it's the left side or the right side.
I thought it was the right side. I get it mixed up, right and left. I'm not sure.
It's your other left today, Ed.
That's
so
what
other right.
That's what my mom keeps telling me.
But thanks for joining us here today. A little background on Ed. He's born and raised here in San Antonio. Ed has earned his bachelor's degree in business administration, majoring both in accounting and finance from the University of Texas at San Antonio. He carries over 26 years in accounting, auditing, and technology. Ed is also an entrepreneur that owns 12 other affiliated companies. Wow. And has passion, and his passion involves taxation, finance, real estate investment, and technology. Don't you have some traveling or something in there and touring the world or photography or something?
It's a travel business.
Yeah,
well, I think you just described my hobbies.
So, Ed's a member of the, if I get this right, I mean, this is great, the Microsoft Great Plains President's Club and Inner Circle. He serves on the Technology Steering Committee for the Greater Chamber of Commerce and is the chairman of the Gold Member Circle of Influence group for the Greater Chamber of Commerce.
Wow, Ed, you also have quite a bit of a list of awards and speaking engagements listed within your portfolio. I wanted to name a few. Some of your speaking engagements include education seminars for the Greater Chamber of Commerce, North Chamber of Commerce, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Trinity University, the Small Business Summit, UTSA, SBDC, WOAI, San Antonio Living. Ed is also one of Dave Ramsey's endorsed local providers, ELP.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a few awards also include San Antonio Business Journal Jumpstart of 2006, Microsoft President Club Partner, top 5% top performer of the channel, and the Newsline Real Estate News from 2001 to 2012.
Yes, we're having a little fun with the Newsline. We always want to publish to realtors and let them know what other tax strategies they can do.
They need it. We all need it.
Everybody needs tax strategies.
Yeah.
That's right.
In your bio, it states Guerrero CPA was established 10 years ago. Tell us how it's grown and what's made your business stand above the rest.
Well, that was great, Karla. You just described the bio for the last 10 years, and I always forget what I've done and what we're doing. And one of the earlier adaptations of tax strategies was that I got into tax problems myself as a CPA. And because I was doing a lot of technology for Microsoft, I created this thing called Lots of Income and caused a lot of taxes. And when I did call all my buddies up, they've all said, well, you're doing everything for tax deductions as you can, Ed. So, we're not too sure what else you can do. Mm-hmm. Well, then I came across another tax lawyer up in Chicago, and he says to me, there's Ed, you can do some more things. And I said, well, I've taken all the deductions. And he starts talking to me about tax strategies versus tax prep. And I started learning more about the differences. And so I decided once I learned that, I would share it with the public. And that's where all the shows and all the educations that I do on a weekly basis come across.
I can tell you that's a true statement, Ed. Ed is also our finance go-to guy and our CPA.
Our guru.
Yeah. And we got a call a couple of months ago. He says, we need to get together. I'm looking at your books. We need to talk some strategies. So the cool thing is he gives you your options. So this is what you can pay the IRS at the end of the year, or these are some things that you can do prior to that. And I love that. So tell us about your team.
Well, exactly, Karla. I mean, the beauty is most people don't get it that you should be planning your taxes already before the end of the year. And the beauty of our team is we're made up of financial planners, tax preparers, and then we have our accountants who do all the work to get your accounting to tell us where you're going to be at. The magic is to understand what will be your tax liability by the end of the year. So really, bottom line, what will you be paying or getting back from the IRS? And I think that's the big issue, is that many taxpayers today, they don't have the luxury. They don't have that CPA or tax preparer or whomever's doing their taxes calling them back saying, hey, we need to look at your numbers today before the end of the year. Mm-hmm. Because you explained it right. We give you the option about taxes. So I always tell people, taxes are about what you want to pay, not what you have to pay. And that's kind of people look at me surprised going, I don't get it. I thought I had to pay this all the time.
Yeah.
But it's about what you want to pay. And if you want to pay less taxes, you've got to do certain things before the end of the year. And those kind of things are, today, if you own your company like we talked about, the first question we say is, what does your company need before the end of the year? And when we talk about those things, we're talking about what type of equipment, computers, other expenses, other deductions that you could take earlier before the end of the year, lowering your taxes, lowering your tax liability. And so we'll go through a series of questions, but those are kind of the first steps that we do with the companies.
Yeah, I know that we went down and met with you a couple of, I guess a month or so ago, 6 weeks ago, and we talked about all of these things. And even though we have a mortgage company and we figure ourselves to be pretty educated in the world of finance, we really are so uneducated in the world of tax strategies. And I like that when first time we met, and that's what really brought me over and made me a fan of yours and your company, is that you always talk about tax strategy and what you could do and being proactive instead of reactive, because next year it's too late to worry about what happened this year. We can just worry about it. And so many people, even though we've only got 3 weeks left here of the month before we go into next year, but I know there are some other things, and we'll talk about that as we get into the program. But those are important things that we looked for as business owners and just as individuals, that somebody that had those answers and would say, hey, this is. Sometimes we just want people to say, this is what you need to do. This is why you're going to do it. And this is what you need to do it. It's your choice. There it is. And having all the information, the old saying, I think Karla even used it this morning, we were talking about something, but knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
And power is usually returns in wealth.
Well, and that's exactly right. Knowledge is power. And the sad part of it is a lot of taxpayers fear the IRS. And we teach them to embrace the IRS. The IRS is here to help you. And they're here to make sure you follow the guidelines and everything. But the truth is, most taxpayers, they get into, well, I'm not sure if I want to take this deduction because I might get audited. Trust me, we don't want you to get audited. We too will prepare your return so you won't get audited. But the bottom line is that we don't want you to have to pay the highest taxes for not doing the steps that we implement in our tax strategies.
So what you're saying is, if and let me get this right, if you're entitled to it, take it.
That is correct.
You're not saying take something that you're not entitled to. But if you're entitled to it, take that deduction.
I think to take this a bit further, I think that the client, the person's a little bit nervous because, again, they're not educated, and they think that the less deduction they take, the less possibility they have of being audited. But that's not true.
Well, that's exactly right, Karla, is that a lot of folks, when it comes to taxes, they just shut down because they're afraid that they might do something wrong and get the IRS to look at them. And really, in fact, what I see a lot of people do is they do a lot of wrong because they don't have a good coach teaching them how to do these things legitimately, documented, having a system in place. So, when you look at tax strategies, we always ask questions. Where do you spend your money, and what do you like to do? And then we explore options on what kind of legitimate business can we put behind that. And so, for instance, I've always used this at my show. My son's a swimmer, and we take advantage of taking photos at the swim meet. Where every parent is a spectator, we became photographers by joining phototime.com. And by doing that yields about somewhere between $1,500 to $2,000 extra that we get from our taxes rather than doing nothing and being a spectator.
How fun is that, taking pictures? If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Real Estate Radio San Antonio, and that's Real Estate Radio San Antonio. We're talking here with Mr. Ed Guerrero, CPA. So, gosh, so much good information about this. I think I know this next question, Ed, is how did you choose your profession? What made you love the idea of servicing and advising and managing other business financials? And I think you said it in the beginning was you were in a situation yourself, and I'll let you.
Well, exactly. I got into a tax problem myself, and the bottom line was that I needed to find a solution for providing some strategies toward taxes. And what I did find was there wasn't a lot of folks doing tax strategies. Mm-hmm. We could count them in one hand. And the sad part was I found that if I needed them, probably everybody else needs them.
Right.
Yep.
And that's when I decided let's change the nature of our company from tax preparation to tax strategies.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And so, Ed Guerrero, you have a passion for delivering the message because you've been there, you've done that, and there was no one there. I mean, you had to go to Chicago to find someone to educate you about strategies and how to improve your lifestyle and your
Absolutely.
finances.
Hey, tell everybody how they can find you.
Well, we're at Perico's every second Friday and third Friday at Sonterra. And we're at 210-490-7100 as well.
Oh, good. That's those are some great seminars I know that you put on. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
We're coming up for a break, and you're tuned in with Real Estate Radio SA at 9:30. The Answer. Stay tuned and find out why you have to go see Ed.